Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to be going over what you need to get started with plastic canvas. By the end of this video, you'll know all of the basic materials and tools you'll need to start making incredible things with plastic canvas. If you're here to learn a new hobby, expand your knowledge of the craft, or to just relax, you've come to the right place. So let's get started. This is plastic canvas. As you can see, one of the things that I like to make is drink coasters. And this is only one thing that you can make with plastic canvas. It usually comes in sheets like this, so quite large, and you can use your scissors to cut them up into whatever shapes that you would like. So in this instance, I've cut this plastic canvas down to a square, and we could use this to make a drink coaster as an example. So this is a specific type of plastic canvas. This is called 7 mesh plastic canvas. Now, this is very important because the size of the holes are going to be different depending on what kind of canvas you get. And the other mesh sizes aren't going to use the same size yarn. They might not even use yarn at all. They might use tapestry thread or something like that. But the one that you want for regular medium-sized yarn is going to be this right here. 7 mesh plastic canvas. That's what you want. Now let's talk about the needles. See if I can dig it out here. This is the needle that you will be using for plastic canvas. It does have a little hole right there at the end. And it's about, an inch and a half long. Now, I want to point something out here about the needle. I do not recommend using plastic needles. This one here is some kind of metal. But the problem with the plastic needles is that they do break over time. And where they break, see if I can get it zoomed in correctly here. So this right here is where it breaks. On a plastic needle, it'll break at the end. And obviously a broken needle is a useless needle. So I do not recommend using plastic needles. If you must use a plastic needle, then also be aware that the size of the opening on the end of the needle might be different. I've seen them much larger than the width of the needle. So make sure that what you choose is going to work for you. Let's talk sizes. Size 16 is the correct needle size for plastic canvas. This happens to be the packaging that this one came out of. These needles are not expensive, but we do want to make sure that we're getting size 16. That is going to work the best for size 7 plastic canvas. You also want to make sure that the tip is blunt. You do not want to be using a sewing needle or a needle that has a sharp tip. You want one that's blunt. Okay? So these could be called tapestry needles. I've seen them called darning needles before, or you might even be able to find them as just plastic canvas needles. So these do say these are tapestry needles, but you just don't want it to be sharp. So let's move on to the yarn. So let me flip this around. Yarn comes in different weights, and the one that we want to be using is going to be medium weight yarn. Yarn can also be made of different materials. I prefer to use 100% acrylic yarn. You do not have to stick to that. You can use cotton if you want, or other materials. But the problem with cotton is that especially if you're going to use it for a drink coaster, that cotton can sometimes stain over time. And I just find that acrylic is better in terms of durability, but you shouldn't have a problem finding an acrylic yarn that you would like. So this does say medium weight, it does have 4 on here. Since we're looking at the labeling, this part right here is going to tell you about the knitting needles that you would want to use for this size of yarn. And then this over here tells you the ideal crochet hook size for the yarn. This is just a nice color as well. Some colors you will use a lot, so I recommend having lots of black, lots of white, even red and green for Christmas colors and whatnot. But if you're going to use something crazy like a lime green, maybe you don't need to have a full size skein. And this packaging as yarn as it's wrapped up is called a skein. So we're going to need some yarn, of course, in order to do plastic canvas. And then this last guy here is the scissors. You want to make sure that you've got a good pair of scissors. Unlike crochet or knit, where you only have to use scissors maybe at the beginning and at the end of the project, you are going to be using your scissors a lot when it comes to doing your plastic canvas project. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got a nice, good, sharp pair of scissors. So let's recap here. You're going to need 7 mesh plastic canvas. Most of the time they come in these sheets. And then you can cut them down to whatever size that you need. You can buy pre-cut plastic canvas that are in the circles or in the shape of hearts. But these sheets allow you to cut out whatever shape that you need. Needles, again, size 16 tapestry needles with a blunt tip, non-plastic if you can find it. Medium weight, preferably acrylic yarn, and a nice good sharp pair of scissors. So now you know all of the materials and tools that you'll need to get started with plastic canvas. So stay tuned, as I'll be able to share more with you in upcoming videos about plastic canvas. And eventually, I'll be able to share some videos on crochet and knit as well. So keep an eye out on that. Heck, even consider subscribing if you like this content and would like to see more. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. Drop a like if you'd wish to do that. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.